She saw you smile. The sparkle in her eyes, the carefree laughter, the lively conversation. Everyone around got caught up in the facade of happiness, but there was something behind that smile, a shadow hiding in the subtext. The mask was perfectly fitted, and she was a master at wearing the disguise. When the party ended and the lights went out, the silence became deafening. The walls of her world, which once felt so vibrant, now felt oppressive. She sat alone in a corner, a tear rolling down her face, breaking the facade. The smile that everyone admired was a shield against the pain that consumed her inside. Behind that outward appearance was a silent battle, a struggle against the internal demons that didn't manifest in words. The people around her saw the joy but didn't perceive the sadness. It was easier to believe in the version she presented. The fear of being vulnerable kept her from sharing what she truly felt. Social expectations trapped her in a cycle of appearances, where honesty seemed like too heavy of a burden to bear. Every interaction was a performance, and she grew increasingly exhausted. Over time, that mask began to weigh her down. The need to please others and maintain a positive image isolated her. In conversations, she avoided depth, steering clear of questions about her well-being. "I'm great," she said, while her heart shattered. Those who truly cared, however, began to notice the small cracks in her armor. The blank stare during moments of silence revealed more than words ever could. The expectations weren't just external, they were internal too. She felt trapped in a labyrinth of self-criticism, where happiness was an unattainable goal. The pressure to be perfect became overwhelming. Every little mistake was amplified in her mind, and self-criticism turned into a vicious cycle that fueled her insecurity. Happiness felt like a prize she would never achieve. One day, looking in the mirror, she saw more than just a smiling face. She saw a tired person who needed help, who needed to be heard. The first step was to break the silence, to share her truth with someone close. The fear of being misunderstood and judged was significant, but the need to be authentic outweighed the hesitation. With tears in her eyes, she confessed her struggles, and to her surprise, she found acceptance. From that moment on, the layers began to peel away. With each honest conversation, each outpouring of emotion, the mask of happiness became less necessary. The path to healing wasn't easy, but each step toward vulnerability set her free. She learned that sadness isn't a sign of weakness, but a part of the human experience that needs to be acknowledged and validated. Her journey isn't over, but now her smile reflects who she truly is, and not just a facade. When she smiles, she does so with the certainty that it's possible to be both happy and sad at the same time. Life is complex, and allowing herself to feel all emotions has made her stronger. It's not a linear path, but an ongoing process of self-understanding and acceptance. In every story of an outward smile, there's an iceberg of unspoken feelings. True happiness is not about hiding the pain, but finding a balance between light and shadow. And so she continues to walk, not just in search of happiness, but in pursuit of authenticity. She has learned that authenticity brings with it a new kind of freedom. By allowing herself to be vulnerable, she started to build deeper connections with those around her. Relationships became more meaningful, based on mutual honesty. By sharing her struggles, she not only freed herself, but also inspired others to do the same. Those who once felt alone in their battles now found comfort in the idea that they were not the only ones facing difficulties. Conversations that were once superficial began to turn into moments of sharing and understanding. Friends started to open up about their own struggles, creating a safe space where vulnerability was not seen as weakness, but as a trait of courage. This transformation didn't happen overnight, but it was a gradual process that required patience and persistence. She realized that healing was not a destination, but a journey. One day she felt stronger and more confident in her own skin. However, on another day, sadness could return without warning. This emotional fluctuation became a normal part of her life, and she learned to embrace these feelings instead of fighting against them. Acceptance became a daily practice, and in this way, she began to understand that life was made up of ups and downs. You might wonder how she dealt with the harder days. Instead of hiding, she started to create space for sadness. Sometimes that meant allowing herself to cry without feeling guilty. Other times, it was finding a quiet corner to reflect on her emotions. She discovered that writing helped her organize her thoughts. By putting her emotions on paper, she was able to give voice to what she was feeling, making them easier to manage. The practice of gratitude also became an essential tool. Even on the heaviest days, she forced herself to list 3 things she was grateful for. This simple act helped her shift her focus, even if just temporarily, and find small joys amidst the pain. Gratitude didn't erase the sadness, but it helped her see that even in tough times there was light to be found. She began to engage in activities that fulfilled her, such as painting and dancing. These artistic expressions became a way to release repressed emotions. Dance, in particular, connected her to her body in a way she had never experienced before. It didn't matter if the steps were right. What mattered was the feeling of freedom that accompanied her. Painting, in turn, allowed her to express complex feelings through colors and shapes, creating a space where pain and beauty could coexist. Meanwhile, she became an advocate for mental health, using her story to help others. Joining support groups and sharing experiences became an important part of her life. She realized that vulnerability could create a domino effect, inspiring others to open up and seek help. By talking about her journey, she helped destigmatize emotional struggles and encouraged acceptance of difficulties. Her interactions on social media also changed. Instead of just posting about the good times, she started sharing daily struggles, small victories, and bad days. This honesty resonated with many, and she received messages from people who felt relieved to see someone openly talking about sadness. This space turned into a supportive community where people could feel seen and understood. She also learned the importance of self-care. This didn't mean that every day would be good, but that she could treat herself with compassion, especially during tough moments. The practice of self-discipline became a pillar in her life. Regular exercise, healthy eating, and adequate sleep have become priorities. These practices not only helped her physically, but also improved her mental health. Therapy also played a crucial role in her journey. Talking to a professional helped her explore deep wounds and better understand her emotions. Therapy was not a sign of weakness, but a powerful tool for self-discovery and healing. Over time, she learned to trust this process and to see therapy as a safe space to be completely honest, free from judgment. Now, looking back, she realizes that every step taken toward authenticity was essential. Experiences of pain and joy coexisted, shaping who she had become. The smile she now wore was no longer just a shield, but a genuine expression of who she truly was. She knew that life was a mix of feelings, and each one had its place. This new understanding allowed her to live more fully. Recognizing that sadness and happiness can coexist made her stronger and more resilient. She was no longer seeking an idealized happiness, but rather authentic moments that reflected her true essence. This shift in perspective not only transformed her life, but also impacted those around her, creating a space where everyone felt comfortable being true to themselves, without fear of judgment. And so she continues to walk forward, embracing every emotion, every laugh, and every tear, as she builds an authentic and meaningful life. Her journey was not just about the pursuit of happiness. It was a deep dive into understanding herself. Instead of focusing on the expectation of a perfect day, she began to appreciate the beauty in simple moments. Every interaction, every experience, became an opportunity for learning. She learned to be kind to herself, recognizing that she didn't need a standard of success to be valid. Conversations with friends became more authentic. She allowed herself to be vulnerable, sharing not only her moments of joy, but also the struggles that often accompanied her. This openness made her friends feel comfortable doing the same. Together, they created a space where authenticity was celebrated, and vulnerability was not seen as a sign of weakness, but as an act of courage. She realized that human connection deepened when people allowed themselves to be real with one another. Through sincere conversations, she and her friends began discussing not only the highs of life, but also the challenges they faced. These interactions became more meaningful, as each one could support the other in their daily struggles. This mutual support strengthened their friendship. Instead of pulling away during tough times, they came together. This support network extended beyond their close circle. By sharing their experiences on social media, she began receiving messages from people who were grappling with similar issues. This exchange of stories and support created a community that transcended geographical boundaries. The stories she shared were not just about her struggles, but also about the small victories that helped her along the way. Each step, no matter how small, was a testament to her resilience. She learned to celebrate these moments, acknowledging that life was not just about major accomplishments, but also about daily progress. This new perspective led her to explore self-care more deeply. She began investing time in activities that truly made her happy. Physical exercise has become an important part of her routine, not just as a way to keep her body healthy, but as a way to release built-up tension. She discovered that practicing yoga and meditation helped her reconnect with her body and mind, providing moments of tranquility amidst the chaos. Healthy eating also became a priority. She started cooking more at home, exploring new recipes, and experimenting with ingredients she hadn't known before. This practice not only helped her feel better physically, but also brought a sense of accomplishment. Cooking became an act of self-love. She allowed herself to try new activities like gardening, which connected her with nature. Taking care of the plants brought a new dimension to her life, allowing her to observe growth and transformation in something so simple. This practice taught her to be patient and to appreciate the development process, both in the plants and in herself. Art also became an important form of expression. Painting was not just a way to create, it was an opportunity to explore emotions that were often hard to put into words. Each brushstroke was a form of release, allowing her experiences to manifest in colors and shapes. This creative expression helped alleviate her emotional burden and channel her experiences constructively. She also became an advocate for mental health in her community. Participating in talks and workshops on the topic has become a significant part of her life. Sharing her story and listening to the stories of others helped her realize that the struggle for mental health was not a solitary battle. It was a collective effort, and the more people came together to discuss their experiences, the stronger the message of acceptance became. The stigma surrounding mental health still existed, but each open conversation helped dismantle those prejudices. By raising awareness about the importance of caring for emotional health, she became an active voice in her community, motivating others to seek help and recognize that they were not alone. The practice of gratitude transformed into a daily ritual. Every day, upon waking, she would write down 3 things she was grateful for. This simple practice helped her shift her mindset, even on the most challenging days. She realized that gratitude was not just a response to happy moments, but a way to find light in the shadows. Over time, sadness didn't disappear completely, but it became a more manageable part of her life. She learned to recognize the signs that she was about to face a difficult day, and instead of fighting against it, she began to prepare. Creating a welcoming environment at home where she could retreat and reflect became an essential ritual. She allowed herself to feel sadness without guilt, acknowledging that it was a valid emotion. Through acceptance, she learned to navigate these experiences with more grace. Instead of hiding, she permitted herself moments of pause where sadness could be felt and processed. Her journey of self-discovery and acceptance led her to a new understanding of what it means to be human. Life is not simply about being happy or sad, but about experiencing each emotion in its fullness. This new perspective helped her build a richer and more meaningful life. And so, she continues to walk this journey, not seeking perfection, but embracing authenticity with every step. Each day is a new opportunity to learn, grow, and connect with others. Life is a mosaic of experiences, and she now appreciates every piece, whether of light or shadow, as part of the beauty of her existence. Her journey was not limited to just her personal transformation. Over time, she started to look at the world around her from a new perspective. The experiences that once felt distant now touched her deeply. She became involved in social causes, seeking ways to help those who were also facing silent emotional battles. This desire to reach out to others made her realize that many people were struggling with the same issues she had faced. Participating in community events became a way to share her story and listen to the stories of others. She volunteered for organizations that supported mental health, where she could offer not only her time, but also her empathy. This connection made her feel that she was doing something significant, contributing to a world where vulnerability is accepted and openly discussed. These experiences taught her about the importance of active listening. She realized that often people just needed someone to hear them, without judgment. Hearing the life stories of others made her feel more connected to humanity. Each account brought a new lesson, a new insight into the complexity of the human experience. This interaction with others helped her develop a deeper sense of compassion. Over time, she began attending support groups, not just as a participant but as a facilitator. This new role gave her the opportunity to create a safe space for others to share their struggles. By guiding these conversations, she recognized that the exchange of experiences is powerful. People felt more comfortable opening up when they saw someone who was genuinely interested in their stories. She learned the importance of validating others' feelings, even when she couldn't fully understand their experiences. Each person carried a unique burden, and acknowledging that was essential. This validation not only helped others feel heard, but also reinforced her understanding of the complexity of emotions. Through this work, she noticed that the stigmas associated with mental health were starting to dissipate in her community. Conversations that were once whispered were now held openly. The simple act of being present and sharing her story triggered a wave of courage in others. They began to open up about their own stories, creating a cycle of support and understanding. This support network expanded into social media. She began to share not only the good times, but also the daily struggles, demonstrating that life consists of ups and downs. This transparency made many feel more comfortable sharing their own difficulties. Messages of support and gratitude began to flood her inbox. People who felt alone in their battles now found a space where they could feel seen and understood. Additionally, she started organizing workshops on mental health and self-care. These events brought together people of different ages and experiences, creating a space to openly discuss issues that are often sidelined. By sharing self-care strategies, she helped others find tools to cope with their emotions. The discussions were enriching and inspiring, and the feedback she received was encouraging. The practice of gratitude, which had already become a pillar in her life, was also incorporated into these gatherings. Participants were encouraged to share what they were grateful for, even during tough times. This exchange not only strengthened the connection among those involved, but also helped redirect the focus to what truly mattered. The simple act of recognizing the small joys of everyday life became a common practice among them. Over time, she began to notice changes in her own perception. By helping others, she realized that her own pain had become a little lighter. Every story shared, every tear wiped away, contributed to her healing process. Helping others overcome their difficulties became one of the greatest pleasures of her life. This desire to help wasn't just about her experience, it was about the possibility of making a positive impact on other people's lives. She started writing a blog where she shared these experiences. The space became a platform to discuss not only her struggles, but also the victories and lessons that emerged along the way. The blog quickly gained followers, and interacting with readers became an important part of her routine. Messages of support and stories shared by other readers kept her motivated to continue writing. These online interactions showed her that the fight for mental health was a collective effort. Many people were willing to share their stories, open up about their struggles and seek help. The need to normalize these conversations became even more evident. She realized that by creating a safe space to share, she was helping to break down barriers and destigmatize the pursuit of help. As her journey progressed, she became interested in studying more about psychology and mental health. This new passion led her to consider the possibility of becoming a professional in the field. She began researching courses and programs that would help her better understand the complexities of the human mind. This decision was driven by her desire to help even more people who were struggling with their emotions. She also started practicing mindfulness and meditation more consistently. These practices helped her connect with her inner self and find a space of tranquility amid the chaos of life. Over time, meditation became an essential tool for managing stress and anxiety. The discipline she learned through these practices reflected in other areas of her life, promoting a balance that once seemed unattainable. Her journey was now a blend of self-care, helping others, and self-discovery. Each day brought new challenges, but also opportunities for growth. The authenticity she embraced not only transformed her own life, but also had a lasting impact on the lives of those around her. By continuing on this path, she was seeking not just happiness, but a deep understanding of the human experience, filled with complexity and beauty. She began to realize that the transformation she was experiencing was not just personal, but collective. More and more, the people around her felt motivated to share their own stories. This exchange of experiences created a welcoming and safe environment where pain and joy were recognized and validated. The simple act of listening became an essential skill, allowing people to feel seen and understood. Conversations that were once superficial now became profound. She became a facilitator of dialogues about mental health, promoting regular gatherings in her community. These gatherings attracted people of different ages and backgrounds, all in search of a space where they could be authentic without fear of judgment. The presence of each individual there was a confirmation that vulnerability, far from being a weakness, was a source of strength. Over time, she began to study more about different approaches to mental health care. She participated in workshops, read books, and delved into research on psychology. This new phase was not just a quest for knowledge, but a way to prepare herself to help others more effectively. She wanted to become a bridge between those struggling and the resources available to them. The desire to help people find their voices grew. She became an advocate for mental health on social media, sharing useful information and resources that could assist others on their journeys. Every post, every shared story was an effort to demystify the emotional issues people faced. The response was incredible. Engagement with her followers increased, and many began to recognize the importance of seeking help. Over time, the idea of becoming a mental health professional solidified. This decision was not made lightly. She considered the responsibility that comes with addressing the emotions and life experiences of others. Pursuing a degree in psychology seemed to be the most fitting path. She started enrolling in courses, searching for institutions that offered a solid foundation for her new career. Meanwhile, she continued to practice self-compassion. The discipline she had learned throughout her journey became an ally in her daily routine. She woke up early to meditate before facing the day, creating a space of tranquility that helped her deal with daily challenges. Mindfulness practices became a cornerstone in her life, allowing her to remain centered even amidst chaos. She also began exploring group therapy, not just as a facilitator, but as someone who could benefit from the experience as well. Participating in sessions with other people made her feel that she wasn't alone in her struggles. The exchange of experiences was enriching and helped her understand the complexity of mental health even more. Each meeting brought new perspectives and insights. Through her work in support groups, she witnessed the strength that emerged from community. People shared their stories, laughter, and tears. Empathy became palpable, and everyone contributed to a healing space. She realized that in many cases, people just needed someone to listen to them. This genuine interaction created deeper bonds, strengthening the sense of community. Over time, her approach to life became more practical. She learned to tackle challenges more directly, without getting lost in negative emotions. The practice of gratitude, which once felt like a chore, became a natural habit. She began to notice small things that made her smile, like the sun shining through the window or the laughter of a child in the street. These small joys became important anchors in her life. She also understood that self-care wasn't limited to leisure moments, but involved taking care of her physical and emotional health. Regular exercise became part of her routine, not just as a way to keep her body healthy, but as a ritual of connection with herself. Her workouts in the park, outdoor walks, and even dance classes became moments of genuine pleasure. Healthy eating also became more significant in her daily life. Preparing meals became an act of self-love. She explored new ingredients and recipes, seeking to nourish her body purposefully. The act of cooking became a form of expression, allowing her to experiment and have fun in the kitchen. These changes not only improved her health, but also connected her with a sense of accomplishment. As her journey of self-discovery progressed, she decided it was time to take her experiences to a broader audience. The blog that had started as a personal space was now transforming into a platform for support and information. Readers began sharing their stories, creating a support network that extended beyond the borders of her city. She started receiving invitations to speak at events and lectures about mental health. This new phase was challenging, but also exciting. By sharing her story publicly, she felt more connected to others. The reactions were positive, and the feedback motivated her to continue on this path. Each lecture was an opportunity to demystify mental health and encourage others to seek help. Over time, she became an active voice in the fight against the stigma surrounding mental health. She participated in campaigns and movements, always aiming to promote acceptance and understanding. The idea that everyone has a story, and that vulnerability is a natural part of the human experience, spread through her interactions. She realized that the fight for mental health was not just an individual battle, but a collective effort. Each person who opened up about their experiences contributed to creating an environment where vulnerability was accepted and discussed. This made her realize that throughout her journey, she was not just a survivor, but a driving force for change. And so she continues to move forward, now with a renewed purpose. Her story is not just about her own transformation, but about the impact it can have on the lives of others. Every smile she now shows is a testament to the journey she has taken and the strength she has found along the way. She knows that life is full of ups and downs, but above all, it is a constant opportunity to learn, grow, and connect. She realized that her journey not only transformed her, but also led her to a deeper understanding of what it means to be human. Every conversation she had, every story she heard, helped her see the complexity of life in a new light. Mental health was not just an abstract topic, it was a tangible reality, an issue that affected everyone in different ways. Over time, she became more involved in her community, participating in local events focused on mental health. These gatherings were safe spaces for sharing experiences and mutual support. People shared their stories, and empathy became the force that connected everyone present. She noticed that many felt relieved to simply be able to talk about their struggles without fear of judgment. This exchange solidified her belief that vulnerability can be a strength, not a weakness. With each event, she felt more motivated to expand her reach. She began organizing workshops on self-care and mental health, addressing topics such as the importance of open communication and the practice of gratitude. These gatherings were not only informative, they were also opportunities for people to connect in more meaningful ways. She saw familiar faces and new ones, all in search of a space where they could feel welcomed. The workshops became a success. People left the meetings with new perspectives and tools to manage their emotions. She realized that by sharing her own experiences, she was helping others feel less alone. This connection made her work even more rewarding. Each positive piece of feedback carried special weight, like a confirmation that she was on the right path. Additionally, her desire to learn more about mental health led her to enroll in online courses. She wanted to better understand the emotional issues that people faced and how she could help them more effectively. This quest for knowledge excited her. With each new lesson, she felt she was equipping herself with the necessary tools to make a difference in others' lives. The practice of mindfulness, which had become common in her routine, also began to be shared in her workshops. She taught simple breathing and meditation techniques that could be applied in everyday life. Many people reported that these practices helped them better cope with anxiety and difficult moments. Their feedback was encouraging, and it kept her motivated to continue. She realized that self-care wasn't just about relaxing activities, but a comprehensive approach that included caring for the mind, body, and spirit. This understanding led her to explore new activities that promoted holistic well-being. Yoga practice became an essential part of her life. The classes not only helped her physically, but also provided a space to connect with herself on a deeper level. Over time, she began to engage in mental health awareness initiatives in schools. She knew that young people faced unique pressures and that education about emotions and mental health could make a significant difference in their lives. While working with teenagers, she witnessed the positive impact that understanding emotions could have on their ability to tackle future challenges. During these meetings, she dedicated herself to creating a safe environment where young people could express their concerns. The conversations were deep and revealing. Often they felt relieved to discover they weren't alone in their struggles. This connection across generations was invaluable and encouraged her to continue her work. The support she received along the way also encouraged her to seek collaborations with other professionals in the field. She formed partnerships with therapists and counselors, creating a support network that could offer additional resources for those in need. These collaborations enriched her initiatives, allowing her to connect people with mental health resources that could assist them on their individual journeys. She also began writing articles about mental health for blogs and magazines. These pieces addressed topics ranging from the importance of self-care to the demystification of stigmas surrounding mental illnesses. By sharing her knowledge and experiences, she hoped to reach a broader audience and contribute to mental health awareness. Social media became a powerful platform for this mission, She used her accounts to share useful information, self-care tips, and reflections on her own journey. Engagement grew, and people began to connect with her posts in ways she had never imagined. Interaction with her followers became an important part of her routine, offering a space for dialogue and the exchange of experiences. Over time, she realized that her journey was not just about personal healing, but about creating a movement around mental health. This new perspective motivated her to continue fighting against stigma and promoting acceptance. She was determined to make a difference, even if it was within a small circle, because she knew that every step counted. The impact of her work began to be recognized in her community. She started receiving invitations to participate in events and forums where she could share her story and insights about mental health. These opportunities filled her with excitement, as she knew that each talk was a chance to educate and inspire others. She realized that her role as a mental health advocate was just beginning. Every interaction, every meaningful conversation contributed to fostering a more welcoming and understanding environment. The idea that vulnerability is an essential part of the human experience spread through her words and actions. Her journey was not only about her own growth, but also about the transformation she could bring to the lives of others. With every step she took, she felt more connected to the purpose she had found. Every laugh, every tear, and every shared story reminded her of the value of authenticity and the strength found in vulnerability. And so, she continued to forge her path, embracing each challenge and celebrating every achievement. Her life became a testament to the power of human connection and the importance of caring for mental health. The pursuit of authenticity and emotional understanding became her legacy, inspiring others to do the same. She began to realize that the impact of her journey extended beyond her personal sphere. Her actions were creating a ripple effect. New friendships formed, nurtured by genuine conversations and mutual support. People felt more comfortable sharing their stories, leading to an environment where the stigma around mental health began to dissipate. Over time, she became a reference point in her community. Her willingness to listen and offer help meant that many sought her out in times of need. This new responsibility made her reflect on the importance of taking care of herself. She dedicated time to ensure that her own well-being was not overlooked, recognizing that she could not help others if she were not in a healthy place. Participating in mental health conferences exposed her to new ideas and techniques. She absorbed every piece of information, determined to implement practices that could benefit those around her. She learned about active listening techniques and how to create safe spaces for discussions about emotions. Additionally, she began encouraging the establishment of support groups in schools and local organizations. As a result, the voices of young people were amplified, allowing them to speak about their experiences without fear of judgment. This approach not only helped the youth, but also fostered a new sense of community and empathy among them. She was transforming her pain into a collective strength, and this motivated her to keep moving forward. Before you leave, do two things right now. Take a deep breath and hold on to what touched your heart today, and if it makes sense, share this story with someone who also needs to hear it.